Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. And boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Miller. Look, man, make the fight and make the fight now. I know a lot of people don't want to see Jarrell Miller get a payday. I can understand why they don't want to see him get a payday. But I think this fight between Anthony Joshua and Jarrell Big Baby Miller is actually getting, I'm doing something while I'm talking, is getting more traction than probably any other fight out there. Now, I understand with Deontay Wilder feels him and AJ is the biggest fight in combat sports. Maybe it is. Maybe financially, one of the biggest, maybe the biggest. But for me, what I think is the most interesting will be Anthony Joshua taking on Jarrell Miller. Now, this whole thing, ever since they announced this day of reckoning, Jarrell Miller has been out there bullying everybody. But there is someone who's very close, near and dear to Anthony Joshua, who is bullying Jarrell Miller. And he's hitting Jarrell Miller in a very sensitive spot. He's hitting Jarrell Miller with stuff that has 10 times the impact than what Jarrell Miller's hitting Anthony Joshua with. Now, if you don't know, Jarrell Miller, since he's been in Saudi, it started back when they first announced the fight and had all the guys over there for the press conference. Calling Anthony Joshua the B word, calling him the P word, saying he's scared of Deontay Wilder, saying he's promoting him, they'll never fight Deontay, saying he came to America and got his butt kicked. He's been just sinking his claws into Anthony Joshua and trying to get him to react. But this is the thing. Although he said some things that are probably very annoying to Anthony Joshua, you got someone out there named Derrick Chisora. Now, Derrick Chisora is not going for the bull crap. He doesn't want to hear nothing. Every time Derrick Chisora sees Jarrell Miller, he calls him a drug cheat, he insults him, and he's just really, you can see the frustration on Jarrell Miller's face. And I thought that was interesting, and I thought that was good, because Derrick Chisora is very vocal, and he's like a big brother to Anthony Joshua. Now, if you didn't know, Derrick Chisora and Anthony Joshua, they came out of, I believe it's the same gym. Now, Derrick Chisora is older, but they've never called each other out. AJ's never called him out. I think Derrick Chisora at one point in time was talking about maybe fighting AJ just for the payday, but Anthony Joshua was like, no way he could fight Derrick Chisora. Too much respect for him. They have a lot in common. Anthony Joshua is born in the UK, Nigerian heritage. Derrick Chisora was born, I believe, in Tanzania. Came over to the UK when he was a young guy. So there's just a lot in common, a lot of respect there. But I'm going to tell you, I think if there's any fight that gets made, I think it's Jarrell Miller against Derrick Chisora. I think that would be a good fight. But let me just catch you up on some things. Now, if you didn't know why Jarrell Miller is being called a drug cheat, well, it started back in 2019, right? He had a heavyweight title shot against Anthony Joshua for 3 belts. Man, basically, he was supposed to be fighting AJ, not Andy Ruiz. But he tested positive on March 20th of 2019, right, for a doping agent that was believed to improve endurance. But that same agent has shown to cause cancer in lab animals. But he was taking this because he wanted to improve his endurance. It's called GW1516. Now, as a result of all that, the Nevada Athletic State Commission denied Miller a boxing license because he failed the test. Now, the one thing about New York Athletic State Commission and the New York Athletic State Commission. But one thing about the New York Athletic State Commission and the Nevada Athletic State Commission, they don't play with that drug testing. If you're doing something, they're gonna flush it out. They're gonna find out, and if they find it out, the fight's off. You get banned from boxing. That's why a lot of fighters, they don't want to fight in New York or Nevada. And with this fight, it was going to take place in New York, so it was the New York State Athletic Commission. But the fight was supposed to take place 1 June at Madison Square Garden. But the problem is, after that test came back positive, right, there were subsequent drug tests that also revealed more banned substances in Miller's system. That's why Eddie Hearn says he feels Miller was trying to kill Anthony Joshua. And that's why Eddie Hearn got so pissed off and emotional, because Eddie Hearn and Joshua, yes, a promoter, and this is the guy he's promoting, but they're, like Eddie Hearn said, he's my mate. They're friends. And Eddie Hearn, he didn't like that. Everything that he did for Jarrell Miller to come now and to load up on all these substances to get in the ring, and the way Eddie Hearn put it, basically to try to kill Anthony Joshua. And I don't blame Eddie Hearn for feeling that way. But anyway, the subsequent test came back positive, where he was detected to have a human growth hormone in him, and also EPO. Now, the problem is, right, HGH is one of the substances of choice that were used during the baseball's so-called steroids era, where those guys like Sammy Sosa's and McGuire, all them guys are hitting all them home runs, right? And then EPO is a hormone that stimulates red blood cell production and believed to increase endurance and recovery in athletes. Now, you may say, well, what the hell is EPO? Well, I put it to you this way. You remember old Lance Armstrong, right? He admitted to using HGH and EPO while doping to win the Tour de France. If you remember, Lance Armstrong had cancer, came back to cycling, and this man was all gas, no brakes. And no one could understand. Oh, he's a miracle. Only God can do this. And it's just beyond comprehension, because the shit wasn't natural. Okay? He was loaded up on the cocktail. Took it to the stupid in the Tour de France, and eventually got popped and admitted that he had been doping all along. Now just imagine Lance Armstrong smoking people, cycling, no gas, all gas, no brakes. And imagine a boxer having that kind of stamina and endurance. There's no way in the world Anthony Joshua could have won that fight, because as he started to get tired, Jarrell Miller would have been picking it up, and Jarrell Miller's 300-something pounds. Could you imagine if that didn't get detected and Jarrell Big Baby Miller got in there with AJ? Andy Ruiz did AJ pretty dirty. But could you imagine if Jarrell Miller got in there and was able to survive Anthony Joshua's first 4 rounds, and he's super strong? You know, Anthony Joshua gets tired, especially in that fight. And then Jarrell Miller would have beat him down. And that, when you think about it, it's kind of sickening. But it is what it is. That's why Jarrell Big Baby Miller back then came out, and it was like, look, I messed up. I made a bad call. My heart's bleeding right now. He missed an opportunity, hurt his family, friends, his team, his supporters. But you look at how he's acting now. I mean, I don't know what he's going on. But a lot of people felt that he should be more humble now, but he's not. If anything, he's the same or worse. You know what I mean? But that being said, I still think Anthony Joshua against Jarrell Miller, I understand not wanting to give him the opportunity, but I think that's an interesting fight. And I would like to see it. And I would like to make sure stringent drug testing. And I would like to see if Jarrell Miller tests positive again, if he takes it to the stupid. Because boy, oh boy, what if he tested positive again? He'd be banned from boxing. He'd be banned from boxing. Lifetime ban. And I doubt they would lift it. But at the same time, if he gets in there with AJ, this AJ is more into coochie cooing and not tranquilizing people, but it looks like Big Femi is back. AJ may get in there playing around, and all of a sudden now, Jarrell Miller, around 7 or 8, if AJ can't get him out there, he starts to pick up the pace. Next thing you know, he gets a TKO victory. So it's one of those situations where you can understand why, one, Eddie Hearn and AJ don't want to give him an opportunity, because one, they're at different levels in their career. Two, he had an opportunity, he blew it because he cheated. So why would I entertain fighting you again? And then 3, there is some risk associated with it. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Miller. I kind of feel like they should make the fight, but I also understand not giving him an opportunity. But if he keeps winning, he may find himself in a mandatory position, especially if Anthony Joshua ends up kind of going all the way and continuing to win. It could end up where they somehow end up fighting. Or Joshua just says, nope, I don't want to fight him. We just have to wait and see. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.